Hello, welcome to Covering Sports with Prince. And in this segment today, we're going to be speaking about Anthony Yarde and his career. We're basically going to be summing up the career of Anthony Yarde. Has he had a good career? Has he had a bad career? Has he had an excellent career? And in my eyes, I believe that Anthony Yarde's had a very, very, very good career, taking into account when he started to box and what he's achieved so far in his career has been magnificent. Started boxing at the age of 18, limited amount of amateur fights. Had his first fight against Mitch Mitchell, which was by KO. And then after that, he's just been steamrolling through the division. However, I do feel like what Yarde could have done better in his career was nothing. I don't think he could have done anything better in his career. I believe what Anthony Yarde really needed in his career was an experienced corner. I understand the loyalty, I understand building everything from the ground up, and I'm all for building things from the ground up. However, in some certain points of your career and certain points in life, you're going to need someone with just a little bit more experience to take you over the top. Like we've seen from the beginning of Anthony Yarde's career that I've been following, he has a tendency of getting tired in the latter rounds. His conditioning is not that great. So as a coach, knowing that your fighter's conditioning is not as great, that's something that should have been worked on. His footwork is good, but it could have been better. Those are things that he could have been working on within his career. And I just believe that a more experienced coach that understands those fundamentals, that understand the science to the T, could have very well assisted Anthony Yarde in those criterias. And I say that to say this, it's Kovalev, great example, with a more experienced corner, with a more experienced coach that's been there, that's done it. Anthony Yarde wins that world champion, and it's unfortunate that we never got to see Yarde lift a world championship in the light heavyweight division, but he's definitely had a good career. At the end of the day, both him and his team were just learning on the journey, and the fact that they're learning on the journey and never had that level of experience at that world level and was able to get to that world level is just a testimony to what Anthony Yarde has done in his career. I don't think that Yarde would ever become world champion. Being the age of 34, he's lost a lot. I think he's very much conditioned in the way that he fights. He's lost speed, and the fighters in which hold the titles, I believe, are just on another level to him. They're just too elite, and we've seen it with the better Bievs, and we've seen it with the Benavides, and it will be the same thing with the Bivos. But hands and hats off to Anthony Yarde and his team. They done a great job with taking him this far. Although he was unfortunate and wasn't able to lift a world championship, he's definitely had a very good career and can't take nothing away from Anthony Yarde. In saying that, thank you for tuning in to Covering Sports with Prince.